Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sci-Fi Primer. At this episode, we're going to review a story called The Tin Woodman. This is evidently an allusion to the character in The Wizard of Oz, who was a metal man without a heart, and you'll understand why later. This short story appeared in Analog magazine in December 1976. It was co-authored by Dennis Bailey and Dave Bischoff. I hope I pronounced that name right. We start the story here at planet Earth. There's a young man named Divum Gellin Harlthor, or Div for short. We quickly learn that not only is he a mind reader, he's an exceptionally gifted mind reader, perhaps the most gifted in the entire world. People regard him with apprehension because they know that he knows the contents of their thoughts at all times, and he can read their apprehension, and this sets him apart from regular humanity. In this future, telepaths and empaths are not uncommon. They are usually put into service to utilize their talents, or kept doped up so as to make them conform to societal norms. Does that sound familiar to you at all? Some very important people go to see Div because they need a favor of him. There is a ship that was discovered around the star Aldebaran. It's the only other star system in this story. There's a brief mention of the star Capella here, and we get the impression that Capellans are hostile to Earth, but we don't learn anything more about them, whether they're another human culture out there or they're aliens. The story doesn't go into that. Back to the ship at Aldebaran. Let's go there and continue the story. It's just a couple of jumps away on this boat that I'm using.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Fuel scooping.
This ship, discovered around Aldebaran, was dubbed the Tin Woodman. It is a living vessel made of silicone and carbon-based organic molecules, as well as being partly metallic as well, a sort of cybernetic construct just passively orbiting Aldebaran. It's being studied by an Earth military vessel.
Four, three, two, one. Fuel scooping.
Div arrives at the human ship, called Pisces. He senses right away that the captain doesn't like him. Div's job is to make telepathic contact with the vessel Tin Woodman. The Pisces captain is named Eden Darson, and an empath called Mora Elbrin is on board. We get the sense that Mora, the empath, is a second-class citizen, and that humanity regards all psionic humans this way. Mora's job is to sense the emotions around her and to calm tensions where possible. The humans scanned Tin Woodman and couldn't get much out of it other than that it was technologically way more advanced than anything they'd ever encountered. At the distance they are from Tin Woodman, Div only gets fleeting images of the ship's mind, but he senses that the ship is welcoming him. Div needs to get closer, a request which he makes to the captain of Pisces. The captain obliges and sets him out in a maintenance shuttle of sorts set on autopilot to approach the alien ship. Before departure, Mora the empath confesses to Div that she is miserable on the ship and feels violated in her role as ship's empath, having to deal with the normals and their emotions, as she calls them. It drains the life out of her. Out in space, in the shuttle, Div is headed toward the Tin Woodman. As he gets closer, his telepathic link increases. Then, all of a sudden, he smashes the view screen so that he can fly right up to the alien ship. Div reaches the ship and it accepts him on board. As Div enters the hatch, the Pisces captain seizes remote control of the shuttle to try to kill Div, but he's suddenly stopped by a sharp pain in his brain. Mora is stopping the captain, reflecting into the captain the ugliness of his own mind. He can't deal with it and dies. This buys time for Div to board the Tin Woodman. Inside the ship, Div's mind merges with the alien. The ship lost its symbiote, a passenger that gave it direction and purpose, and Div was finally able to free his mind. As the two merge, they hurtle towards the human ship Pisces and enter jump space. Before leaving, Div mindcasts his new sense of belonging and well-being and purpose to Mora, a message so strong that even the normals on board receive it. Div was at peace and free to roam the universe. And that's the story. It was released in full novel form in 1979, though I haven't read it, I just read this short story version. Now, if this story sounds awfully familiar to you, I can tell you why. The authors adapted this story into an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, which aired in the year 1990, called Tin Man. Didn't have to change much. In the Star Trek TNG episode, the role of Mora, the empath, was played by the ship's counselor Troy, although Troy is not mistreated like Mora was. The role of Div was replaced with a very highly telepathic betazoid called Tam Elbrin, very much with the same struggles as Div in the short story had. A different first name, but you'll notice that the last name of Tam Elbrin is the same as the name of Mora Elbrin in the original short story. The TNG episode also added an element of danger by having the Romulans try to either take hold of Tin Man or destroy it. And there's a neat friendship that develops between the android Lieutenant Data and the telepath Tam Elbrin, because for the first time, Tam can't read a sentient being's thoughts, and he finds that very refreshing. This episode of Star Trek TNG never makes anyone's top 10 list, and I'm not sure why, because it is one of my absolute favorites. The pacing is great, and the resolution and character development are so well done on this one. So if you have a chance, check out that episode. It's Season 3, Episode 20, and after watching this, you'll know a bit more about its origins. And thank you for watching, and until next time, have a good beginning of year 2021. Bye for now, and if you like this story, stick around. I've got some really good ones coming down the pipe. And do subscribe if you want to be notified.